Have you ever wondered why your erections aren't as firm as they used to be? Many men think it's all about testosterone or blood flow. But here's the hidden truth. The strength and flexibility of your pelvic floor muscles plays a massive role in erectile function. These are the muscles that lock blood inside the penis and keep you hard. And just like any other muscle, if you don't train them, they weaken with age. That's where targeted pelvic floor stretches come in. Most people think pelvic floor work is only for women, but in my clinic, I've seen men in their 50s, 60s, even 70s transform their performance simply by strengthening and stretching these hidden muscles that most urologists never even mention. Today, I'll show you the 5 best stretches that you can do at home without equipment to support firmer erections, better control, and even improved bladder health. Stay with me until the end because the final stretch is the one most men skip, but it's the real game changer for lasting firmness and the kind of rigidity you remember from your younger years. Before we get into these 5 powerful stretches, I need you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Why? Because what I'm sharing today could genuinely transform your intimate life, and I'm going to be posting more evidence-based content that you won't want to miss. These stretches actually work, but only if you stay consistent, and I'll be here to guide you every step of the way. So go ahead, subscribe right now before we continue. I'll wait for you. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Margaret Gimi, and I've been practicing urology with a special focus on men's sexual health for over 16 years. What I'm about to share isn't some theory I read in a medical journal. These are stretches I've personally prescribed to hundreds of men who came to my office feeling defeated, embarrassed, and convinced that firm erections were a thing of their past. They thought the only options were pills with side effects, injections, or just accepting a declining sex life. But here's what they discovered and what you're about to discover today. Your pelvic floor muscles are absolutely critical to erectile function, and most men have never been taught how to properly engage, strengthen, or stretch them. These muscles don't just support your bladder and bowel control, they actively contract during arousal to trap blood inside the erectile tissue, creating and maintaining firmness. When these muscles are weak, tight, or poorly coordinated, blood flow becomes compromised. You might get partially hard but can't maintain it, or you might lose rigidity during intercourse, or you might find that what used to be rock solid is now just adequate at best. Here's the good news that pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know. You can retrain these muscles naturally. You can restore the strength, flexibility, and coordination that create reliable, firm erections without medication. And unlike pills that you have to take every time and that come with headaches, flush skin, and other side effects, these stretches create lasting improvements that become part of your body's natural function. Now, I want to set realistic expectations. These aren't overnight miracle cures. What I'm giving you is a systematic approach to rebuilding the muscular foundation of your erectile function. The men who get the most dramatic results are those who commit to doing these stretches consistently for at least 6 to 8 weeks. That's when the muscle fibers rebuild, the neural pathways strengthen, and you start experiencing noticeably firmer, more reliable erections. Some men notice improvements within 2 to 3 weeks. Others take the full 8 weeks. But almost everyone who sticks with it reports significant changes in firmness, control, and confidence. And here's something else important. These stretches don't just help with erections, they also significantly improve bladder control, reduce lower back tension, enhance hip mobility, and support overall pelvic health. So even beyond the bedroom benefits, you're investing in your long-term physical well-being and quality of life. Stretch 1. The deep hip flexor release. Let's start with the first stretch, and this one specifically targets the hip flexors and lower abdominal region that directly impacts blood flow to your pelvic area and erectile tissue. Start by kneeling on a comfortable surface like a yoga mat or carpeted floor. Step your right foot forward so your right knee is bent at about 90 degrees, with your knee directly over your ankle. Your left knee should be on the ground behind you, with the top of your left foot resting flat on the floor. Your torso should be upright, and you can place your hands on your right thigh for balance and support. From this lunge position, here's what I want you to do very deliberately and slowly. Gently press your hips forward, shifting your weight toward your front foot. You should immediately feel a deep stretch through the front of your left hip, through your hip flexor muscles, and possibly into your lower abdomen. This is exactly where you want it to feel it. Don't force the stretch or bounce. Move slowly and mindfully into the position until you feel a moderate, comfortable stretch. Not painful, but definitely present. Now here's the critical part that most people miss. As you hold this stretched position, I want you to actively engage your pelvic floor muscles. Contract them gently as if you're trying to stop urinating midstream or lifting your pelvic floor upward from within. Hold this dual action, the hip stretch plus the pelvic floor engagement, for 30 to 45 seconds while breathing deeply and steadily through your nose. Don't hold your breath. Oxygen flow is essential for muscle function and flexibility. What makes this stretch so remarkably effective for erectile function? Let me explain the anatomy and physiology here. Your hip flexors, particularly the psoas and iliacus muscles, run from your lower spine through your pelvis and attach to your femur. When these muscles are chronically tight from sitting, which describes most modern men, they create tension that restricts blood flow through the iliac arteries, the major vessels that supply blood to your penis. They also pull your pelvis into an anterior tilt that compresses nerves and blood vessels in the pelvic region. By deeply stretching these hip flexors, you're opening up the vascular pathways that deliver blood to your erectile tissue. You're relieving compression on the pudendal nerve, which carries the signals for arousal and erection, and you're training your body to simultaneously stretch and contract, which creates what exercise physiologists call reciprocal inhibition and neuromuscular coordination. This coordination is exactly what you need during sex, when your pelvic muscles need to contract powerfully to trap blood, while your hip flexors need to stay relaxed and mobile. After holding for 30 to 45 seconds on your right side, slowly release and switch legs. Repeat the exact same process on the left side. Many men notice that one side is significantly tighter than the other. That's completely normal. Don't try to force both sides to feel identical. Just work within your current range of motion and flexibility. And over time, both sides will improve and balance out. Do this stretch twice on each side for a total of 4 repetitions. As you progress over the coming weeks, you'll notice the stretch feels deeper, easier, and more natural. You'll also notice that your pelvis feels looser and more mobile, and that translates directly to better positioning and movement during intimacy. Some men describe it as feeling more fluid and less rigid in their hips and pelvis, which allows for better rhythm, deeper penetration, and more stamina without lower back fatigue. Stretch 2. The butterfly pelvic opener. The second stretch is one of the most powerful movements for opening the entire pelvic region and increasing blood flow to the genitals. I call it the butterfly pelvic opener, and it specifically targets your inner thighs, groin, and deep pelvic floor muscles. Sit on the floor with your back relatively straight and your core gently engaged. Bring the soles of your feet together so they're touching, and let your knees fall out to the sides, creating a diamond or butterfly shape with your legs. The closer you can bring your feet toward your groin, the more intense the stretch will be. If you're less flexible, keep your feet farther away. If you're more flexible, draw them in closer. There's no right or wrong distance. Work with where your body is today. Place your hands on your ankles or feet, or rest them gently on your knees. Sit up as tall as you can without straining, lengthening your spine upward as if someone is pulling a string attached to the top of your head. Don't round your back or slouch forward. That neutral spinal position is important for getting the maximum benefit from this stretch. Now, take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. As you exhale, gently press down on your knees with your hands or elbows, encouraging them to move closer to the floor. You should feel a deep, spreading stretch through your inner thighs, your groin, and potentially deep into your pelvic floor. Move slowly and respectfully with your body. Never force or bounce. Just apply gentle, steady pressure and let gravity and time do the work. Here's what makes this stretch uniquely powerful for erectile function. Hold this position for 45 to 60 seconds, and while you're holding, I want you to focus on your breathing and pelvic floor activation. Every 10 to 15 seconds, do a gentle pelvic floor contraction. Squeeze those deep muscles as if stopping urine flow. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds, then fully release and relax. Then repeat. You're creating a rhythmic pattern of contraction and relaxation while your muscles are in a stretched position. This is called dynamic stretching, and it's far more effective than static stretching alone. What's happening inside your body during this stretch is profound. Your adductor muscles, the inner thigh muscles, are intimately connected to your pelvic floor through fascial tissue and neural pathways. When these muscles are chronically tight, which happens from sitting, driving, and lack of mobility, they create a constricting effect that reduces blood flow into the pelvic region. It's like putting a tourniquet around the very area that needs maximum circulation for erections. By opening these muscles and releasing that chronic tension, you're allowing the internal pudendal artery, the primary blood vessel that supplies your penis, to function at full capacity. You're also reducing compression on the dorsal nerve of the penis, which carries sensation and arousal signals. Many men don't realize that reduced sensation and firmness aren't always about aging or testosterone. Often, they're about mechanical compression from tight, inflexible muscles that can be released through consistent stretching. The butterfly stretch also improves what physical therapists call pelvic floor tone. Your pelvic floor shouldn't be constantly tight or constantly loose. It needs to be responsive, able to contract powerfully when needed and relax completely when appropriate. Many men unknowingly hold chronic tension in their pelvic floor from stress, anxiety, or poor postural habits, and this tension actually prevents proper blood engorgement during arousal. By practicing the contract and release pattern during the butterfly stretch, you're training your nervous system to let go of that chronic holding pattern. After holding for 45 to 60 seconds with your gentle pulsing contractions, slowly release and straighten your legs. Shake them out gently, then repeat the stretch 2 more times. With each repetition, you might find your knees drop a little closer to the floor as your muscles warm up and release. That's perfectly normal and actually desirable. Men who make this stretch a daily habit often report something fascinating. They describe feeling more open in their pelvic region, more blood flow, more sensation, and most importantly, firmer, more sustainable erections that feel more like what they remember from their 30s and 40s. Stretch 3. The prone cobra with pelvic engagement. The third stretch combines spinal extension with deep pelvic floor activation, and it's specifically designed to enhance the mind-muscle connection that's so critical for erectile control and firmness. Lie face down on a comfortable mat with your legs extended straight behind you and your arms bent so your hands are positioned near your shoulders, palms flat on the floor. Your forehead should be resting lightly on the ground, and your entire body should feel relaxed and neutral.
So, what makes this stretch so uniquely effective for harder, longer-lasting erections? It's training your body to maintain pelvic floor engagement while moving dynamically. Most pelvic floor exercises are static. You contract, hold, and release while sitting or lying still. But during sex, you're moving, your hips are shifting, your pelvis is tilting, your entire body is in motion. If your pelvic floor can only engage while you're perfectly still, it won't function optimally during actual intimate encounters. This exercise bridges that gap. It teaches your pelvic floor to stay active, responsive, and strong while your hips and pelvis are moving through different positions and angles. That translates directly to maintaining firmness during thrusting, changing positions, or more vigorous activity. You're training functional strength and coordination, not just isolated muscle contraction. Additionally, the circular hip movement dramatically improves circulation throughout your entire pelvic region. It creates a gentle pumping action that moves blood, lymph, and synovial fluid through your joints and tissues. Increased circulation means more oxygen and nutrients delivered to your erectile tissue, better waste removal, healthier tissue function, and ultimately, firmer and more reliable erections. The circular hip movements also release tension in your hip joints, lower back, and sacrum. Many men hold chronic stress and tightness in these areas, often without even realizing it. That tension restricts movement, reduces flexibility, and can actually inhibit sexual performance by creating discomfort or limiting your range of motion. By mobilizing your hips daily with this exercise, you'll notice that you feel looser, more comfortable, and more capable of sustained activity without fatigue or strain. After completing your circles in both directions, take a moment in child's pose to rest. Sit your hips back toward your heels, extend your arms forward, and let your forehead rest on the mat. Breathe deeply and feel the gentle stretch through your lower back and hips. This rest position is just as important as the active exercise because it allows your nervous system to integrate what you just practiced. Stretch 5, the rocking frog stretch. Finally, we've arrived at the most overlooked but incredibly powerful stretch. This is the one that most men never hear about, and it's the one that can take your results from good to genuinely exceptional. I call it the rocking frog stretch, and it specifically targets the deep pelvic floor muscles and inner thighs in a way that no other exercise can match. Begin by getting down on your hands and knees on a padded surface or a yoga mat. From this position, slowly and carefully widen your knees apart. Go as wide as feels comfortable without pain or strain. Keep your feet turned outward so your inner thighs are fully open and your hips can sink lower toward the floor. Your knees should form a wide V shape, almost like a frog's legs, which is exactly where this stretch gets its name. Now, gently lower down onto your forearms, keeping your spine neutral and your head relaxed in a comfortable position. You can rest your forehead on your stacked hands or on a pillow if that's more comfortable. This position alone should create an intense stretch through your inner thighs, groin, and deep into your hips. If it feels too intense, don't push it. You can bring your knees slightly closer together or place a pillow under your chest for support. Once you're in this position and you've adjusted to the initial stretch, here's where the real work begins. Start rocking your hips gently forward and back in a slow, controlled, rhythmic motion. Move like a gentle wave flowing through your pelvis. Rock forward, pause briefly, then rock backward, pause briefly, and repeat. The movement should be small, deliberate, and smooth, not large or jerky. As you rock, focus on your breathing. Breathe deeply into your belly, not your chest. And here's the game-changing element that most people miss. As you rock forward, gently contract your pelvic floor muscles. As you rock backward, release the contraction and let those muscles fully relax and lengthen. Create a rhythmic pattern of engagement and release that coordinates perfectly with your rocking motion. Spend 60 to 90 seconds in this position, moving continuously with your breath and your pelvic floor contractions. Don't rush. This isn't about speed or intensity. It's about patience, consistency, and creating fluid movement through tissues that are likely chronically tight and restricted. What this stretch does is truly unique and extraordinarily powerful for erectile function. It deeply stretches your adductor muscles, your inner thighs, while simultaneously opening and releasing your deep pelvic floor muscles. These tissues are often chronically tight from years of sitting, stress, poor posture, and simple neglect. When they're tight and restricted, they create what I call a tourniquet effect. They literally strangle blood flow in and out of your pelvic region. Restricted blood flow means difficulty getting hard in the first place and difficulty staying hard once you achieve an erection. The blood simply can't flow in freely enough, or it leaks back out too quickly because the muscles that should be trapping it are too weak or too tight to function properly. By gently opening and stretching these muscles while simultaneously engaging your pelvic floor in a dynamic way, you're teaching your body to find the perfect balance between strength and flexibility, tension and relaxation. That balance is absolutely critical for sexual function. Too much tension in the pelvic floor restricts blood flow and can actually cause premature ejaculation because your nervous system is stuck in a fight or flight state. Too little strength or tone means you can't trap blood effectively, leading to weak or inconsistent erections. This stretch helps you find and maintain that sweet spot of balanced, responsive muscle tone. The rocking motion is particularly important and shouldn't be skipped or rushed. It creates fluid movement through your entire pelvis, which dramatically improves circulation, promotes lymphatic drainage that reduces inflammation, and trains your muscles to activate and relax in perfect harmony. Many men describe the stretch as feeling like it unlocks their pelvic region. Something that felt stuck, tight, or restricted suddenly feels open, mobile, and alive. After 60 to 90 seconds of continuous rocking, slowly walk your hands back under your shoulders, carefully bring your knees back together, and move into child's pose. Sit back on your heels, extend your arms forward, and rest your forehead on the mat. Take several deep breaths and notice how your pelvis and hips feel. Most men report a sensation of increased warmth, circulation, and openness through the entire region.
Repeat the stretch 2 more times for a total of 3 sets. With each repetition, you might find you can go slightly wider with your knees or rock with more range of motion as your muscles warm up and release. Listen to your body. Never force anything. Progress gradually and respectfully. Men who make the rocking frog stretch a daily practice often report the most dramatic improvements in erectile firmness and staying power of any exercise I prescribe. Some describe it as the difference between erections that are 60 to 70% firm versus erections that are 90 to 95% firm. That difference is life-changing for your confidence, your performance, and your partner's satisfaction. So there you have it, the 5 best stretches to restore harder, more reliable erections after 50. Let me recap them quickly so you have a clear action plan. Stretch 1, the deep hip flexor release, opening blood flow pathways and releasing anterior pelvic tilt that restricts circulation. Stretch 2, the butterfly pelvic opener, stretching your inner thighs and groin while training pelvic floor coordination. Stretch 3, the prone cobra with pelvic engagement, extending your spine to optimize nerve function and building conscious pelvic floor control. Stretch 4, the kneeling hip circle with pelvic tilt, training dynamic coordination and circulation while moving. Stretch 5, the rocking frog stretch, the game changer that releases deep pelvic floor tension and creates the perfect balance of strength and flexibility. These are not quick fixes, temporary solutions, or gimmicks that promise overnight transformations. They are practical, scientifically proven stretches that systematically retrain your body to achieve and maintain firm erections by addressing the root mechanical and neuromuscular causes of erectile decline. The key to success is consistency and patience. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day, which is less time than you spend scrolling through social media or checking emails, can lead to noticeable improvements within 3 to 4 weeks, with more dramatic, lasting results after 6 to 8 weeks of regular practice. And remember, these stretches don't just help with erections. They also significantly improve bladder control, reduce lower back pain, enhance hip mobility, release chronic pelvic tension, and support overall confidence in your body and your masculinity. You're not just working on your sex life, you're investing in your total physical well-being and quality of life. For best results, perform these stretches daily, ideally at the same time each day to build a consistent habit. Many men find success doing them first thing in the morning to start the day with increased blood flow and energy, or in the evening as a relaxing wind-down routine. Find what works for your schedule and lifestyle. Track your progress. Notice improvements in firmness, duration, control, and overall sexual satisfaction. Pay attention to morning erections, which are an excellent indicator of vascular and neurological health, As these stretches strengthen your pelvic floor and improve circulation, many men notice their morning erections return stronger and more frequent, which is a sign that the underlying physiology is healing and improving. This is Dr. Margaret Jimmy wishing you health, vitality, and confidence at every stage of life. Remember, it's never too late to strengthen these crucial muscles and reclaim your sexual health and performance. Now, before you go, I need you to do 2 things for me. First, smash that like button if you found this information valuable and helpful. That tells me you want more content like this, and it helps other men who need this information find this video. Second, drop a comment below and tell me which of these 5 stretches you're most excited to try. Just write the number 1 through 5, or write all of them if you're committed to the full routine. This helps me understand what resonates with you and guides the content I create in the future. And if you found this helpful, please share it with a friend who could benefit from this knowledge. Sexual health shouldn't be a taboo topic. Men deserve evidence-based information that actually works. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll be posting more content on men's health, vitality, and performance optimization that you won't want to miss. Now, go put these stretches into practice. Stay committed, do them daily without fail. And you may be genuinely surprised at how much stronger, firmer, and more confident you feel. Your body is capable of remarkable improvement at any age when you give it the right tools and consistent effort. I'll see you in the next video.